Yo, welcome back to the Nerds with Glasses podcast. I'm your host, Knowledge.
And I'm Javi. Guys, this is the beginning of the year. There's a lot of numbers coming in from everywhere. There's always that end of the year thing. And we actually found a story that was really crazy. It's just like this, it seems like a jump now, you know what I mean? Like, this is like a transitional, like we're going to transition to this.
Yeah, times are changing. For
exactly,
gaming.
yes, thank you.
And this is one of the most relevant articles I read in the past like 5 years about gaming.
Yeah.
So what was the article?
Yeah, so apps in 2014 earned $10 billion. App Store, you know, I think it's combined Apple and...
I think that's just Apple.
Oh, okay.
Just for Apple.
Just for Apple.
Which is a significant chunk of the market, though. I know Android is bigger, but not that much bigger.
Yeah, right. I mean, they have... It feels more free, but I think Apple, you're right, has more of the market.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy that it was... $500 million was earned in the first week of 2015 alone.
Yeah, so if you do the math, by the end of the year, if it stays on that pace, which it probably won't, you figure though January would probably be a low. Yeah, number.
I mean that's considering like our mentality for video game for console generations.
Yeah, maybe it's probably different for maybe people are getting like cards for Christmas like App Store.
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyways, at that pace, they would make what, like
26 billion.
26 billion this year. Last year they made 10. This year, of course, 1 week, it's not, you know, you can't go off of that, but I think it's just crazy that it's making that much money. Now you got to consider though, now we're relating it to gaming. Now I don't know what percentage of that is gaming. There's a lot of different apps. There's apps that fucking are flashlight or
so everything you can buy anything. You can buy calculators if you don't want to use one that's on your phone for some reason.
Yeah, but you definitely, the biggest chunk to me is games.
Yeah,
like,
games, books probably, and movies and music.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. I mean, if you have an Apple, you probably go through iTunes.
Yeah.
For music anyway, so that probably wouldn't count. And movies, I think the same way. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, unless they combine that, but still, that's a crazy amount.
Because the stuff that always gets like filtered into like popular culture in apps is the games. Like over the years, Tiny Wings, Angry Birds, Flappy Bird,
Clash of Clans,
Candy Crush. Like those are massive amounts of hits.
Angry Birds made a whole company based off that. I mean, that's where they started from, and now Rubio, or however you pronounce it, is fucking huge.
By the way, that game is not that good. Like,
it's fun. I liked it.
It's fun for like the first 20 minutes, and after that I'm like, oh, I'm done with this shit. Like,
I love those kind of like launching games. I used to play a game very similar to that, but you battle each other, kind of like Worms.
Yeah.
If you've ever played that. But I mean, they get, I think they've licensed everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Like they have Transformers, Disney, Star Wars. It's just like, okay.
I was done when they released like a full like Xbox 360 Angry Birds game. I'm like, come on guys, come on. No, but good for them, man. Make your money, shit. But anyways, yeah. My question when reading this is though, what I was thinking about is, does this show a shift in gaming? Is the hardcore crowd fading out? You know, is the casual crowd?
Let's just throw out the number. This is from 2013, which I believe they don't have. We couldn't find the numbers yet.
No, not for 2014.
Yeah, but this is for the video game industry. They made 21 billion.
Yeah.
So you know, double, about a little bit more than double.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, it's already at half, and in such a smaller time period, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's definitely. Console games are considered a little bit more hardcore people play, and then you have the mobile, which is completely casual, so apparently to everyone.
And again, like we said, transitional, because like I was saying before, some of the mobile games I would consider hardcore now. Like if you're a like Clash of Clans player, like you're like a hardcore ass motherfucker. Like you take that shit serious. Like
and it's definitely one of those things. The only reason it's considered a casual game is the environment it is. Yeah, it's just your phone. You don't have to set up your monitor, put the right settings. So many people just can't play without the right setting. Yeah. You know, maybe your headphones. You need your system. Obviously, you need to be set up. Yeah. Your phone just, I mean, you just take it out of your pocket. You're done.
Anywhere, you play it a little bit, put it back, and that's it. That's true. But I remember maybe like 2 years ago, people were starting to talk about this, about whether the mobile and the casual will take over the hardcore. Especially at the time, it was kind of when the Wii U was first coming out, so the Wii, people were still saying, okay, the Wii changed everything. People want casual stuff. The Wii U is going to be a big fucking hit. Yeah. And then what happened? The Wii U wasn't a big hit. So maybe there weren't that many casual players as people thought. Maybe it was just this gimmick with the motion controls that people really loved.
Yeah, definitely.
Because now I'm also like, the consoles are releasing like really hardcore gamer type games. You know, like all the Halos and all those things you can think about, like those type of franchise sellers, like. Those are hardcore games, and they're not for casual players.
Right, but a lot of the issues with those games, it seems that those games are starting to like not necessarily be more casual, but starting to cater.
Yeah,
which I mean, they have to do that. I mean, a game has to be able to sell to everyone. Yeah, that's the whole point of it. I mean, some games try to just target the audience and that's it. Yeah. But especially if you're under a big publisher. They're going to want money, so they're going to want you to make a game that anyone can buy and play, or at least make it seem that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I do see that in games a lot. Even just, like, what bothers me, like, a great example to me is Assassin's Creed, where if you play part 1 till now, the buttons are so much more simplified now. Like, it does a lot of the stuff for you, like the free running and the fighting. If you actually play part 1, you go back and play part 1, it wasn't a perfect game. They did need to fix a lot of the way you maneuvered and you did your parkour stuff, but like the fighting system was actually really deep compared to what it is now. Like back then, you really controlled how you fought. Now it's kind of just like XXXX B XXX B XXX,
which is with a lot of games like in that category. I mean, you have them just be kind of like not necessarily, but. Well, they are button mashers, but kind of like mindless button mashing. Yeah,
and they're just so stylistic and fun. Yeah, and the stories are good.
That's what draws in the crowd, and then that's what keeps people playing. Because some people don't like. Some people probably didn't like Assassin's Creed just because of the combat. Yeah, there's a lot of people on our channel saying like, some of these games they just can't play because they don't like the way the gameplay is. Yeah. So I mean, I can see why these games are trying to go, I guess, the easier route for people.
Yeah, I do think. Overall, if you were to ask me, I think casual gamers are becoming a bigger and bigger market. This is obvious by what we do. The apps, by apps, but like I really do think, I don't think that hardcore games would be in danger of leaving. But I think the people who are making the hardcore games now are like the indie developers. They're the ones who make like intensive, difficult.
There's so many little what is it, like the 8-bit era kind of games coming out, but with a little bit up graphics. Some of them don't. Some of them try to like cater to the nostalgia, but some of them try to like make it super beautiful, but make the gameplay just 2D platformer, but extremely difficult.
And fucking all these different techniques and stuff that they couldn't do before. Yeah, like those are the hardcore games now. The casual games are your fucking AAA Call of Duty like yearly series that come out, like so many yearly series we have now. Which overall I think my point in saying all this is just that kind of sucks, because the AAA game, I know it gets so much hate, but that's what drives the industry. It's AAA games. Like if we didn't have those, we'd be back to like 1979, which is not a bad thing necessarily, but
it wouldn't be as big of a market as it is.
Yeah, like, and it'd be hard for, like, if you didn't have the AAA games out there, it'd be hard for the indie guys to do what they do, because they'll lose a lot of their like main gamers. I think the people who play indie games are separate from the people who play AAA games, but there's definitely people who play AAA games and kind of dabble. Yeah. Dabble in just like, because I don't really play too many indie games, but I have Steam. A lot. But I have Steam, and it's every now and again I'll play something, so they'll lose a lot of people like me, and they'll keep a lot of people like you. And then I think over time,
it's going to be like more kind of like, because it definitely felt like gaming was kind of underground, you know what I mean? Yeah. If it wasn't in the arcade, you didn't know about it. Yeah. Like, that's how it felt before.
Yeah, it's true. No internet.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know, but as long as if they keep making better app games, so the app games are getting way better too.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things. Like, I don't think console games have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Too much. I mean, definitely something like, I love the Nintendo DS, 3DS, but I think they definitely have the most to worry about. Yeah. Not that they're being threatened right now, but definitely if anyone's gonna get hurt by apps taking over, it's definitely gonna be the mobile, handheld.
The handhelds, yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, there isn't one. I mean, the PSP, but who has a PSP? Like, who has a PS Vita?
I don't know what a PSP.
Yeah, like the only one is it's only Nintendo. They make the only handhelds in the world.
Vita. Yeah, I haven't heard that shit.
Yes.
Yeah, they're the ones most in danger for sure. But yeah, so our second story. Gamergate hashtag sort of.
Oh yeah,
remember this whole Gamergate shit last year?
Yeah,
2014 was a weird ass year. Like,
we're already it's already weird in 2015.
I know. But Don't Nod Entertainment, who made Remember Me. They're making this new game. We've seen like little.
I saw a trailer for it.
Yeah, it's called
Life is Strange. Life is Strange.
Yeah,
it's episodic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us type deal. Telltale.
Yeah, exactly. The Telltale franchise.
But not Telltale. But yeah, they're making like an episodic type game. They said in an interview recently that they chose Square Enix as their publisher strictly because they're the only publisher who would allow them to publish a game with a female protagonist.
Which is crazy. I mean, as unfortunate as it is, I would understand this for a non-episodic game.
Yeah.
But The Walking Dead, you're in... Well, at least in the second one. The first one you are in Lee's, which is a male protagonist. In the second one, you're Clementine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for the episodic, I wouldn't see a problem with a female lead at all. I wouldn't think. I mean, obviously there.
So you would see a problem with a female lead?
I personally don't see it, but like, just I know that people are biased towards it. Yeah. Like automatically, things like that are biased.
I just don't know who these people are. Like the people.
I've never met anyone that wouldn't play a game because there's a girl as a main character.
Yeah.
But that's one of the biggest apparently like industry, like, I mean, this is strictly, I've never even, like, maybe YouTube comments, but I don't, like, nothing like that matters.
Yeah.
Like physically, you know, or in real life, I've never seen anyone like, oh, I'm not gonna play this game because there's a girl and there's a main character. It's always like, oh, this publisher didn't want to publish this game because there's a girl character. It's like,
what? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I want to meet these people who apparently hate playing games with girl protagonists, like, because people in my gamer circle aren't that way. But either these guys are old and like just old timers who don't understand the new generation, or which is more likely to me, they have hard data where they compare games with female protagonists and games with male protagonists, and the ones with the males sell better. And
it's one of those things, like, where are all these people that, like you said, like, I've never met, like, so many people that,
it's like, oh,
like, because I think we were just looking up just for our common knowledge. This isn't a game that has necessarily a female protagonist, but Mass Effect, you can choose to be guy or girl.
Yeah, and I think those are different.
Yeah, that's different, but it was still just a staggering number.
Yeah, and so, and on Mass Effect 3, we looked up the infographic exactly, and they said, BioWare said that 84% of players chose a male, or 82% chose a male protagonist, male shepherd, and 18% chose a female. That's a staggering
number, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense to buy in a game that has a female protagonist, because like I was thinking, like, wait, that's just a thing. Like, a lot of people that play games put themselves, especially when you can create a character, they put themselves into the game pretty much. They want to be not themselves, but they want to believe that they want to be immersed.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. And, you know, there's always that, I mean, it just seems like there's so many more males than females playing.
Yeah. So
that could be that, but it doesn't.
I mean, there is 100%. There's, I mean, at the least, you got to say it's like 60-40.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just, it's probably more like 80-20. Like 80% of people who play or who are gamers, quote unquote, are probably males, and then 20% are females. But there's I mean, we're trying to think of games, so we're kind of brainstorming. We're like, okay, let's think of games that have female protagonists now. So like something like The Last of Us Joel is the protagonist.
Yeah, even Bioshock, you play as Elizabeth when in the DLC, but she's not the protagonist.
Yeah, even though they're main characters, the point is who is the protagonist. I don't think you can include The Last of Us, even though you do play as Ellie a little bit.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, same thing. Okay. Tomb Raider, #1.
Lara Croft, the series, great series.
Lara Croft. So, okay, so here is my argument. Okay, I'm trying to make the argument for the publishers who think that men don't want to play as women. So here's my argument. If I'm them, this is what I'm saying. Okay, Lara Croft, that's a popular series. It sells a lot, and it's a female protagonist. But the reason Lara Croft took off is because she came around at the perfect time. When PlayStation 1, when pixels finally looked 3D and they kind of really did start looking like real human beings.
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat.
That's arguable now, you know.
I know, you look at... It's
not even arguable. It's like so distinct now.
Like, you look at Lara Croft now and it's just pixels, just muddied pixels. But like back then, I was a kid back then, and I was just like, oh my god, she's so hot. She's so... I think she came around at the perfect time that she blew up. So I'm just making the argument
for the publisher.
You be the common gamer. What do you think? Is that bullshit, publisher?
I mean, the game, I don't know.
Is it just a good game?
Like, I think the first... I haven't played the original Tomb Raiders, so I don't know too much. But I do know they kind of like most games, near the end of the series, it kind of like took a downfall, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely don't... I think it was a good game. I don't think people cared it was a girl, you know?
Yeah, it was just a good game.
It was just a good game. I mean, granted, if it's a bad game and there's a girl character or a guy character, it doesn't matter. You're not going to play the game.
It's hard for me to say now because the game was kind of bad, in my opinion. I remember because the controls were so uncontrollable.
Well, and that was the problem with a lot of the
games. Yeah, like something like Resident Evil was uncontrollable. But it was just fun. It was scary in a sense. Actually, that had Jill Valentine too. Now I think about it.
Yeah, but she wasn't.
She was. Yeah, I guess Chris and Jill, whatever. Okay, so that's my argument. Javi's arguing for the common man. I'm the publisher, so he's telling me it's bullshit. I'm telling him Lara Croft came at the perfect time.
Okay.
All right. Here's the second example. Samus. Aaron.
That one's a little bit harder because the first game was, you know, you don't really know until the end. Yeah.
So to me, the reason she works and people like that game is because you didn't know it was a girl until the end, and then after you're like, oh, that was a great game. Oh, it's a girl. What the fuck? Well, the game's still good. So
yeah. I mean, the thing I'm trying to like I understand, like, okay, so it's because these games were good that it wasn't necessarily because of the girl. Yeah. Like, how many, like, maybe I haven't played them, but how many games had girl characters that were bad? Like, I can't even think of many games that had girl characters as the main protagonist. So why you could, like, you know, why is the publisher comparing it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
we don't even have a big sample size.
If anything, there'd probably be more bad games with guy characters.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe they sold well. I don't know.
I think the when it comes down to it, what it comes down to is this: is the game good? Yeah, that's all it comes down to. Because I think what they're thinking is that, okay, males, not only do they, like you said, want to put themselves in and be immersed, but they also want the girl to be a damsel in distress. They want her. They want to save her. They want to be the guy who fucking, you know.
I wonder if Mario, what if it was Princess Peach saving Mario?
That's true. Nope. I can't even imagine that.
I can't even imagine that, unfortunately. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I think that would not take off. I think that example was weird because I think if you're Princess Peach and you had to save Mario.
Yeah. Well, what if it was just like, because, you know, Princess Peach is, you know, the typical princess thing. But what if Mario was like some douchebag prince kind of thing, and then Peach was just like a common girl that has to go save him?
That'd be even worse. Why do I want to save the douchebag?
That's true. Oh, well, not the douchebag, but, you know, like the typical, like, prince. I guess
like a Prince Charming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's asleep. I don't know, something like that. But I mean, yeah, we wouldn't know how it would work.
Yeah. I think just looking at both sides, there is something to what the publishers are saying, but to just say that we're not going to publish a game because it's a girl, to me in this day and age, is ludicrous.
Right. Yeah, because there's definitely that whole male. There's that big, like, you know, it's just like that. That's how it's been. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, we're starting to be a little bit away from how that is. Like, females are less than whatever. I mean, there's been a lot of great games that recently. Like I very much liked Mirror's Edge.
Yeah,
that was a great game, and it had a female protagonist, and it was great.
I'm trying to think of just one more thing is whether when you're a female protagonist, it seems to me that they never sexualize the girl. So what I'm saying is like you never do save the Prince Charming or anything like that, right? Because then I guess the male gamer would feel weird about that. I played Tomb Raider. She doesn't have a love interest. Samus doesn't have a love interest. The girl from Mirror's Edge doesn't have a love interest. I forget what other games.
Lightning Returns. I mean,
she didn't have a love interest, really.
Well, I haven't played the other ones. I know in Lightning Returns she was just like literally a hollow husk.
Yeah.
So there was no emotion at all.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the only way it works. Because then if you're playing and you got to save the guy, and then you're Lightning, let's say, and you save a guy, and then you start making out with the guy, and you're the guy gamer. Yeah. Do you feel weird?
I mean, it's not like it's still a girl kissing a guy. So, but I guess it is.
Yeah, but you're the girl, so you're kissing a guy.
Yeah, I guess that is it. Because you're right. Because it does seem that has to be. Not necessarily like the woman's kind of like completely independent, which is what all the guys' characters are. But I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make it.
Yeah, because then the guys always save the girl, right? You know, like almost always they'll save the girl and they'll get a kiss or something. Except for Link, he never gets.
But even games like Nathan Drake, the gameplay has a lot of interactions with the women, and so like Mass Effect 2 if you're the guy. Yeah. But you're not going there to save the girl, if I'm not mistaken, right?
What, in Uncharted or
yeah,
Mass
in Uncharted. Even in Mass Effect,
no, I mean it's not so much that that's the objective, but you do save the girl several times, and then you're like, yeah, I'm Nathan Drake. She's so hot. Like,
yeah, big dick walk around the house.
Yeah. And then even with games with Mass Effect where you can choose your partner, I bet you all the guys choose a lesbian. Like if you chose a girl. And if you're a guy, if you're a straight guy and you chose a woman shepherd, a girl shepherd, I guarantee you they chose the lesbian girl.
Right, of course, yeah.
Right? They're not gonna choose the guy.
Yeah, we're very close-minded.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would just feel weird. But
exactly, close-minded.
Yeah,
like it'd be out of our comfort zone. We don't see that.
This is a weird question. We're done with this one. Just leave it in the air. Either way, good job, Square Enix.
Yes.
For taking on the fucking the right taking
taking out the game how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
How the developer
envisioned it. Yeah, exactly. Because fuck all the like censoring and all that. No. All right, next story.
Can you imagine they would have to change their whole game to fit a guy role?
Oh god, fuck out of here!
Get the hell out of here!
Well, yeah, if I was them, I was like, get the man. What the fuck? I go sell these myself on the corner right now. Pop the fucking
Steam,
trunk.
Let's go,
dude. I'm rolling up every GameStop, popping the trunk, selling them out the fucking trunk. Fuck that.
This is a really good game, guys.
Yeah,
just trust me. All right, but then so the next story is something I was really happy about.
Oh god. Does this involve Pokemon?
It does actually. Partly. Nintendo is sponsoring Apex 2015, which is a fighting game tournament.
Let's go.
It's one of like the really, besides maybe EVO, which wasn't, I mean it is big, but
let them know.
Melee is like, that's where the Melee, like that's one of the Melee scenes.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be sponsoring it. I mean, it says they're gonna have every single iteration of Smash.
Yeah.
So from the 64 to the Wii U. I don't know if that includes Project M, since it is a hack.
I doubt they will.
I mean, they have the tournament. They have the game there at tournament. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe they won't be able to play that game. Yeah. Understandable. But it's just crazy that this company, that Nintendo, kind of like pretty much frowned upon the competitive scene. Especially Smash.
Yeah, and I forgot what the exact words were. Didn't they call them weirdos or crazy psychos?
Yeah. Like, and I don't think this was Nintendo. I think this was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the
main developer.
Sakurai.
Yeah, but dude, that's if he says that he's Nintendo.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't technically Nintendo, but it was Nintendo. Like, it does fall back on Nintendo.
Yeah.
But this is really cool because not only are they having the Smash, I mean, they're gonna have Ultimate Marvel, they're having Street Fighter, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of fighting games.
Yeah, but they're also having Pokemon, I read.
The new one's Omega.
Yeah, which Ruby. I think it's been there. If I'm not mistaken, but it's just crazy that now. I don't know if they're changing their ways or maybe this is kind of just like a marketing thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see them kind of like backing, which still we don't know what their intentions are, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the reason this is even a story for us is because we like competitive gaming. Mm-hmm. You know, I especially like shooters. Javi likes a lot of fighting games. But Nintendo's, like we just said, Nintendo's really frowned upon, right. And they've really just been against the competitive scene.
Just an example, I mean, we talk about or at least I do. A lot of times I've brought up the Melee documentary.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers documentary. There's a really good part in it that I like where I think he used to help host tournaments. He was talking about how for Melee they couldn't get them to even stream the thing, let alone get supplies from Nintendo. Halo, everything else would
fully support
here's TVs, here's consoles,
whatever you fucking need. Yeah,
they were with it, but they were these tournaments would literally have to ask, basically hope, beg to be able to stream the thing.
Yeah, that was the worst part, which was in the last Evo. They actually they got Smash Brothers on the agenda
they raised $90,000.
Yeah, 90,000. Yeah, $90,000 or I forgot how much it was. It was a good amount. Cancer. And so they got Smash Brothers. They got to play it. They got to play Melee there. But then Nintendo put an injunction saying you can't stream the game. Like, what the fuck? And it's just such a stab in the back for the people who love your game, who psychotically love your game. I think
single-handedly they've kept the game alive.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Smash is amazing.
Yeah.
But, Smash Brothers Melee was played for 10 years. People still play Smash 64 at the competitive level.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Smash Boards is very popular. I'm sure that's where a lot of people, really get into Smash.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do like playing it casually, but a lot of people just like being able to be competitive. Yeah. And that game was... to an extent, very competitive. You can play it competitively.
Super competitive.
Yeah, so it's just crazy that they would kind of they were really pushing away that crowd, which is why?
Yeah, and now maybe this is a sign that they're changing their stance, that they're understanding the benefit of somebody playing your game for 10 years. If you don't think that somebody playing your game for 10 years isn't a benefit, then I don't know what the fuck business you're in.
Yeah, because I mean, just they stream and they get donations. They're getting a lot of some of these people are making not necessarily a living, but doing this to get money, and they get a lot of money, and they're streaming your 10-year-old game,
and people watch.
Yeah,
and it's like you said, it's not even so much okay, Nintendo's not getting a dime off that. Okay, who gives a shit? But at the same time, like you said, they're keeping the game alive. People are becoming aware of, new generations of kids are what game is this? Why are they playing Melee? I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands, of kids out there who saw Smash Brothers for the first time on stream or something and thought it was really cool what all the pros were doing, and so they decided they wanted to play it too.
Can you imagine if they re-release Smash, even just for the GameCube, just re-release Melee again, and release the actual Nintendo brand game controller?
Yeah,
it would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, dude.
The adapter has been out of sale for the last 3 months.
Yeah, we just saw that somebody finally made a third-party adapter, and people are selling them for $90 for a $15-$20 adapter, because people want to play Smash Brothers and they want to play it with the GameCube
with the greatest controller of all time.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, I'm just really happy to see Nintendo finally is seeing something in the competitive community, at least just a glimmer, something
that glimmer of hope.
Yeah, I mean, and competitive, we've talked about it a lot. It's been rising and rising, and it's just another sign that competitive is a fucking freight train that can't be stopped.
Call of Duty and even Halo before marketed it perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. The next story that I want to talk about is Game Over Greggy Game Over Greg.
Game Over Greggy.
Well, it's Game Over Greg, but Greggy's his Twitter or whatever. So he did a podcast with a group of people on IGN. They worked at IGN. They've been there for the last couple of years. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch them all the time. I know who they are.
We know of them. Yeah. We do love gaming news, but it's just one of those things that's not the way it is right now, it is entertaining, but for me, it feels like it's trying to be too hard to be like regular news.
Yeah, especially like because with IGN and GameSpot, too much of it is censored. Like they can't just say what the fuck they want to say.
Exactly. Like
they're trying to just like the news is all politically correct, and it's gotten to the point where you can't always trust, what they say because you don't know if they're being paid. I'm not saying that they were or not. The only person I watch consistently is Daily Fix.
Yeah, I watch. His name is Yahtzee. He does Zero Punctuation.
Yeah,
he just like. I don't think he reviews good games. Like
he just reviews. Games.
I mean, there's some games that have surprised him. He thought they were gonna be bad and they're good, but he's always just like. I mean, I don't know how The Escapists. I've never read them. I only know about them through Yahtzee, and I mean, he always seems to just bag on games so hard. Like his top 10 list. Or top 5 list for this last year, he said most of the games sucked, but because they're the only games, he had to put them at the top. Like he had no choice. Like these were the only games that were any good this year.
It takes so long to get to the story. Okay, now I'm like, how did we get here? Again, how did we get here? Okay, Game Over Greg. So they left IGN, they quit IGN, and they did it not to go to Game. Spot, not to go to a Giant Bomb.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were like, oh, you guys, we don't like you.
Yeah, no, they left on good terms to start their own thing, to start their YouTube. Well, they already had a YouTube channel, but they're gonna focus on their YouTube and their live streaming on Twitch.
There's like the good side of like a like a CEO leave, or not even a CEO, but someone leaving a company for good reasons. Yeah. A lot of people leave for bad, and then going to make their own company for good reasons. Just like like I already learned what I need to do. I'm gonna go do my own thing.
And I just thought it was awesome. I mean, not only that, but it's kind of like, wow, it's not that IGN is bad because they left on good terms and they fully expressed.
Yeah, but at the same time, no matter how good the relationship between the people were, how bad must it be working with these like to be this kind of news thing for gaming.
Because I imagine for them, okay, they had job security. They said that themselves. They had job security, well paid. They could probably work at IGN the worst. Benefits and everything. And yet, even with that type of security that they had, working at probably the biggest game, I would say
most well known for sure.
No, I think they're the biggest because they're bigger than GameSpot. They're slightly bigger. And they left that to do their own thing, which is crazy to me. Like, you turn down the security to be independent.
So, just so you guys know, they're not starting a company. They're doing YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they're going to start their own company soon, too.
Yeah. No, well, they have their own website, which is kind of funny. I've been in kindoffunny.com. Which is some of the names of they have the podcast like that, Kind of Funny, Beyond the Beyond Cast, and all that type of stuff. They also did Patreon, which we talked about.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the most interesting thing about the whole story. Patreon, if you guys don't know, a lot of animators use it on YouTube because it's not easy for them to get content just out. Yeah. So basically, what Patreon is, or Patreon. God dang. Yeah.
Patron. You want to get drunk?
No. Basically. You somewhat subscribe to them.
Yeah.
Kind of like a subscription, not like you're subscribing to someone on YouTube. A subscription where whenever they put something out, you promise to pay a certain amount.
Yeah, you pledge money.
Yeah. So if they put out 2 videos a month or 2 videos a day, you're gonna be paying for those 2 videos.
Yeah, and then you get benefits. They make their own benefits.
Yeah, so everyone's different.
Yeah, exactly. So for them, for example, it's like, if you donate $1, you'll get to hear the podcast the day before we release it on YouTube. So they have special access, and they have a bunch of different tiers. They have like $1, $10.
It's like a continuous PayPal. Not PayPal. I'm sorry. Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly. And you can back out of it whenever you want. And then of course they have the high level ones where it's like $3,000,
and you'll be on a show.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was for them. It was like $3,000, and you'll be on the podcast with us for 1 day this month. And I'm sure if you're a big fan or if you just want to get exposure, perfect. $3,000.
Yeah, advertising. I'll pay $3,000.
Yeah, exactly. Well, why not? If I had the money, like, I'll do it. No, but that's a cool way to earn money, and they got
$16,000
in the first week,
which I don't know how they set it up. Maybe is it per video or whatever it is that they're doing, but yeah, so they're gonna be getting paid $1,600 per whatever content.
It's 16,000
sorry,
for the month. So the next month people can re-pledge or new pledges or whatever. So that means just off rip, there's 4 of them off rip. Each one of them will get 4,000 roughly. And then whatever they make off of Twitch and YouTube all together, it's a good setup. I wish, dude, that's amazing because now they're independent. They can do whatever they want to do. It's scary because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. But at the same time, it's exciting because it's scary.
Yeah.
They have potential to just probably blow the fuck up. And they already had the following from IGN. I mean, they fully utilized all their connections at IGN. Their first podcast, the day after they announced everything and created the YouTube channels, they had a podcast with Kevin Smith. You know?
Wow.
So obviously, like, they're connected. They know people. They've been around the gaming community for a while.
I love Kevin Smith, but I have seen him on a lot of podcasts. I'm just saying.
He's everywhere. That's nothing special.
Ooh, next week. Next week we have
we can get Kevin Smith on the podcast. It's like, no, I mean, I get, okay, he's on a lot of podcasts. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but still, that's somebody who's done shit in their life.
Definitely has done shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's exciting to me. I always love when people really take a risk, and that's a big risk.
And this is even big, like definitely, leaving. Like, for example, imagine you left the company to start your own company, separate from like an actual like you're like you sell shit, right?
Yeah.
And you leave whatever you were selling to start your own that sells shit. It's so hard because you have to build it up.
Yeah.
This is kind of, I mean, it's not as big of a initial throw. Like, you're not throwing hundreds of millions of dollars to build up your company from the beginning. But this is definitely a little bit more scary because you're throwing this money, it's very little, and maybe you get a return, maybe you don't at all. But and then there's always that chance next time, the other person kind of like, they just throw their money in. If it doesn't work, it just falls flat. It's like throwing it at a wall. This is a little bit different because you're kind of throwing it seems a little bit more secure, you know what I mean, but at the same time they're getting a lot less money.
They're getting a lot less money, a lot less potential than somebody else. Like you said, if it was another business,
like a bigger.
But at the same time, they're, like you said, they're not starting from ground zero. They already had a following. People like them. They already had Twitter followers, YouTube subscribers,
and I'm sure. I don't know if they're because they streamed on Twitch their podcast, or did they?
No, they do the podcast on YouTube, and then they just do like Let's Play streams, and they'll play as a group. They'll play like Mario Kart. So I
was curious, do you know if their stream by any chance is part of IGN, or is it their own stream actually?
No, it's their own stream. Now.
So they already have more than the ground, the base level build up, because they already have their stream their followers on there. So that's perfect.
Because the podcast that they were doing, it was on IGN. And then maybe on YouTube, but nothing else. So, they won't have a studio now. They'll be doing it like in a fucking back room and fucking Alhambra and shit, like just some random place.
I mean, but then you have people that started like that, like Freddie Wong. I'm sure you've seen some of his stuff. Like they've started, they've started, little stuff, and now he did his own freaking show with like a shitload of money spent into it.
Dude, it's exciting to start things because there's so much potential. You just dream of the potential.
Especially with this like thing that seems right now limitless, kind of like
we're gonna blow up so much. We're gonna become the next IGN. We're gonna, who knows? But last story of the week. Saints Row 4.
Saints Row 4. This one's a little bit smaller, but fun nonetheless. So everyone knows, or maybe not everyone, but you should know, Gat Out of Hell, along with the rest of the game, is being re-released.
It's gonna be re-released on next gen. Because was it released on next gen before? I forgot. Maybe not.
Maybe not. But I know for sure this one is. It's called The Re-Elected. It's gonna have all the DLC and then have
the new DLC, Gat Out of Hell. And that's being released on by itself too. So you can just, if you already have it, you can buy it. But anyways, in the UK, one of their retailers is called Game, kind of like GameStop if you live in the US, or EB Games or whatever. I don't know, whatever, wherever you are, where you go to buy games. And they're doing a special pre-order bonus. So if you pre-order Saints Row 4,
this is honestly the best pre-order.
You think so? Okay.
I mean, other things have things for in-game, which is okay, but
this is definitely unique. So if you pre-order Saints Row 4 and get the re-elected edition, you'll also get a Ouija board. Which, if you don't know what a Ouija board is,
it's the spawn of Satan.
It's like the devil's game, bro. Like, have you ever played?
I have not. I haven't been fortunate enough to have crazy friends that like Ouija boards.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to tell this story is because the reason I wanted to look at this story is because I have a story to tell about the Ouija board. So if you don't know what the Ouija board is, the way you play, it's a board that has letters, numbers, and yes and no. And supposedly what happens is two people put their hands on the little thing that you use, and then like you summon a spirit, and then you ask questions, and then the thing starts moving on its own and answers your questions. I know, like, yeah, right. It's like, and every time you play it, it's like, are you moving it? Like,
and it's like, no, you can do it more than two people, right? Because I've seen it where it was like 5 people all around.
Well, they're dumb. Okay. Well, anyway, so my brother was always into like scary shit like that. Like we always play like fucking stupid, crazy games like that.
Right.
Okay, I would never play the Ouija board again because of this. So he made a Ouija board, because you can just make it. You can just write up the shit yourself.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Right. And he's like, yeah, we should play the Ouija board. And I was like 10, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, what game is this? Let's go. Ready to beat him at a board game?
Yeah, so like we summon the spirit, and we start asking all these questions. And the thing is moving, dude. And I'm like, you're moving it, right? And he's like, no, I swear to God I'm not moving it. And I was like, whatever. I didn't believe him. Then we got my sister, who never played before either. He's like, okay, you two play and see what happens. We start playing, and the shit's still moving, bro.
And it's making actual words, not just like, you know. Like
yeah, and it's like, wait a minute, like, what the fuck? And I know my sister wasn't moving it because she hadn't played, and she wasn't, you know, and I know for a fact I wasn't moving it. So anyways, we're playing, and we're talking to the spirit, and my cousin comes over. He had just rented some game on Super Nintendo, and he's like, you know, can I play it over here? My brother's playing on my Super Nintendo. I want to play. I'm like, all right, go ahead. So he pops in the Super Nintendo behind us. We're still playing the Ouija board. We're asking all these stupid questions like, is it hot in hell? Or, you know, are you from heaven? Blah, blah, blah. And then my cousin, even back then, fucking, he dies on the game. So he gets mad. He rages. And he's like, fuck, man, fuck you, he says to the TV. And then the Ouija board spells fuck you to us. And I was like, fuck, my heart started beating so fast. And I swear on everything in life itself, this is what happens next. He spells fuck you, the lights flicker, bro. Like,
oh my god.
Dude, I don't know if it's the biggest coincidence of all time, but the lights fucking flicker, and we're like just scared, freaked the fuck out. And we didn't want to keep playing. We run into the living room, look for my dad. He's passed out, drunk, so we can't wake him up, otherwise he gets fucking mad. And we're like, what the fuck, what do we do? But here's the thing about the Ouija board, guys. Here's urban legends and shit.
Right.
You're not, if you play the Ouija board, you have to say goodbye. The spirit has to say goodbye to you. If the spirit doesn't say goodbye, then the spirit can possess anybody in your house or whatever, because you're leaving an open world gates into the world, right? So we know this. My brother told us that. We're fucking scared. We don't know what to do.
So you just keep asking the questions.
You gotta keep asking the questions. Long story short, we go over to my aunt's house. She's fucking pissed because she's from the old country. So, like, you know, they believe all that shit. Like
she's already kicking you out of the house.
Yeah, like, what are you? You're so stoned. You guys are idiot. Like, but my cousin and my older brother had to keep playing. They played for like 4 hours.
Oh, so that you left them playing?
No, we went to my aunt's house, and then they played for 4 hours. And so the spirit didn't want to say goodbye because the spirit was angry. I'm not saying I believe this stuff. I'm just telling you it actually happened. All right. So this is what happened. You know, like, I don't think that they would just pretend to play for 4 hours. Like, they would have got bored, you know?
It's like everyone's in on it, except you.
Except me, yeah. Like, they're all laughing right now. Like, they're like, this is so dumb.
We're going to put this up, and you're going to hear Jess laugh as soon as we put it up.
They were probably there, like, 20 years from now, he'll do a podcast, and he'll talk about, like, you know, no, dude, this fuck. So they played for fucking 4 hours. The spirit finally said goodbye. My aunt put it on the fucking stove, of course, burned it.
Threw holy water everywhere.
Yeah, like fucking Dios Santo, like whatever, Espíritu Santo, and all this fucking. Dude, never play the Ouija board.
But like, get one for free.
Get one for free and get out of hell. Especially too, just last part of it is one of my favorite movies and scariest. To me, the scariest movie of all time is The Exorcist. I don't know if you've ever seen The Exorcist.
I don't think the original.
Yeah, the original, which is you watch it now, it's kind of slow, but if you watch it, you'll still be scared.
Is that the one where she's upside down too, though?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've only seen scenes, and that haunts my dreams.
Yeah. No, it's scary.
Yeah,
dude. It's fucking scary. That and anyways, that whole movie is about that same thing, where it's like she plays the Ouija board, and you don't see it on camera, but you hear that she tells you that, and then she gets possessed afterwards. So it's like that was another layer of why I like believed it even more out, because then I saw the movie later. I didn't realize it before, and I was like, wait, she played the Ouija board. No.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they're just giving this out for free. Like,
here, get possessed.
They're just trying to destroy your life.
We're gonna fly to Europe and like protest the giving away the Ouija board.
I know, man. What the fuck, man? All right, guys, never play the Ouija board. Thank you for joining us this week on the Nerds with Glasses podcast. I am Knowledge.
I'm Javi. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.